Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's your girl Candace here from Swipes and Giggles, here to give you the 411 on online dating and a little bit more. And as you can see, Swipes and Giggles, it's me, your girl Candy. Now, I know that I have not did a video in a week, but it's cool. It's only been a week. I haven't failed that bad. But anyway, if you guys do not know, from the actual last season of Insecure, I did recaps here on my channel, just because my channel is about online dating and relationships and different topics of love and fantasy of love and all that romantic stuff. And so because Insecure came back officially today, I wanted to just put it out there that I'm going to be doing recaps for the season also. And it also helps that we're on quarantine. So, you know, for the next couple of whatever weeks we have left, I will definitely be doing these. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I really do appreciate it. Hello to all my new subscribers that I have received, and any new likes and comments. Thank you guys so much for showing love, and I truly do appreciate it. So Insecure season 3, we kind of left off with everyone almost doing their own thing. So Tiffany was and is still pregnant in this season. So we kind of left off season 3 with Tiffany's baby shower. Let's see here. Yeah, Tiffany's still pregnant. Molly is now dating, I have notes now because I always forget things. Molly is dating Andrew, and Andrew was the friend of Issa's dude that she picked up in that lift that time. I can never remember his name, but yeah, so that's where he comes from. So Molly's dating him. Lawrence and Candola, I think her name is Candola, but it's Candela or Candola Hayes. The only reason why I know Hayes part is because that's my last name. But Lawrence and Candela started talking and now are currently dating. Let me fix you guys. I feel like this is crooked, but that's just probably me. Oh no, my leg is falling. That's what's happening. Okay, there we go. All right, so they're dating currently, and Kelly's just being Kelly within herself. And this season, Issa has found a new mantra of life, you know, doing me, living free, no mess, no confusion, nothing wrong going on. Issa's currently working on the block party that she's been setting up since the middle of season 3. So she's finally putting that into implementation, and this first episode is a sponsor episode. So it's basically a free open party for any potential sponsors from the city to be included in her block party, and she has it at her condominium that she currently is a super at and / lives at. So she has her brother DJing, and one of the tenants, if you guys remember, the real ghetto ratchet tenant, she ends up coming. Nobody else comes because it was kind of just like a warning that Issa was having something there, but she insisted on coming and was asking Issa about her brother, but Issa obviously had to reply saying that her brother's gay. But she was like, oh, that don't matter. My baby daddy's gay, so it is what it is. Weird. But we first before I go into that, we start off the episode. Well, I was 11 minutes late into the episode, but I wanted to say all this while it was still fresh in my mind. So here we go. So 11 minutes into the episode, we have Candola, who is a friend of Tiffany. And we first were introduced to Candola because of the baby shower. She came to Tiffany's baby shower, and she's a friend of Tiffany. And Issa is in Candela's office, and Tiffany, and Candela are like just sitting talking and everything, and Candela has roses on her desk. Okay, so Tiffany then inquires, like, you know, oh, those are some nice roses, where'd you get those from? And she's like, oh, someone that I've been seeing and everything like that. And Issa was like, oh, well, where'd you meet him? He was like, oh, actually I met him at Tiffany's baby shower. So Issa's kind of putting it together, well, there's not that many guys there. Were you talking to Drell? Like, who were you speaking to? And Tiffany's like, wait, is it that one guy that I set you up with that I thought was gonna kind of disappear afterwards? And she's like, yeah, it's actually him. So Issa's like, oh, well, who is it? She's like, oh, actually his name is Lawrence. And Issa's face just goes flush. And she's looking at Tiffany. Tiffany's looking at her like, oh, snap, girl, I didn't know this was going to happen. So, Candela's like, well, what's wrong? What's wrong with him? And Tiffany kind of just breaks in. She's like, well, Issa and Lawrence are exes. That's pretty much that. It just wraps up to that. They're exes. They've gotten over each other. They've moved on. Not a big deal. Tiffany then kind of walks out the room, and Candela is about to say, well, this is awkward. And Issa kind of covers up and says, no, this is awesome. This is great. He's bomb. You're a bomb. You guys are just bomb together. I'm bomb too, And then she kind of throws her little shade in there saying, so many great guys in LA, and you get my ex. Like, where's your exes so I can run up on them like you ran up on mine, I thought that was like a little fake scene because, in Insecure, they usually have like little fake takeaways of what you would really say instead of being rude. But Issa really said that. And I was like, hey, claps up, because it's like, what are the chances that you would be talking to and or dating my ex, and now that kind of puts a strain on Candela's and Issa's relationship, because they have been building this great partnership and friendship with each other, and to now know there is a singular man that brings them together emotionally too, is kind of weary. It's just like a little, it's almost like, do I keep the friendship or do I just go on about my business the way I should have been from the first time? It's one of those weird things. So I still want to know why Tiffany's still pregnant. Like, I feel like, I don't know, maybe they want to bring it close together, but I feel like because they skipped 2019 as a summer, at this point Tiffany should have the baby. Like, I feel like they mess up the script in that. Like, if you skipped a whole entire season, if you skipped a whole entire summer where you usually have your placement, because everyone was doing their own projects, maybe you should have just had Tiffany have the baby at this point in time, and then have the baby being maybe 2 to 3 months old would have made more sense in the storyline. But I understand why that wouldn't make any sense, because then they still need to work on the block party. Okay. That was just me. All right. So then we cut into Candela going to Lawrence's for a Netflix and chill night. Lawrence has on in the background investigative like Murder, She Wrote show. And Insecure is known for having different TV shows play along in their series. So this is kind of like a Murder, She Wrote series where they had Portia from Real Housewives of Atlanta and Ray J himself, the artist, and Portia accusing Ray J of killing her friend, and Ray J saying like, oh no, I wouldn't kill her. He's like, I mean, I killed that P, you know what I'm saying? I laid it down, but I wouldn't kill her. She's cool. Like, prayers up to the family though. And then he opens the door, Candela comes in, and she's just like, I just found out today that I'm friends with your ex. And he's like, ex what? Lawrence, ex who? What else ex would there be? Don't be stupid. So she's like, your ex-girlfriend. He's like, who? And she's like, Issa. And he's like, what? So she's like, well, how long did you guys date? And he goes, 5 years. And she's like, well, 5 years is pretty significant. That's a pretty deep relationship for 5 years. He's like, yeah, but we're cool. Everything's cool. So then he's like, here, have a glass of wine. She's like, you know what? I'm just going to go home. I'm going to just think these over. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with her. I just really need to take this in myself, which I completely understand, because that's a kind of a lot to deal with, where you have this new person, especially another new Black female in your life, and it's just like, it's great because you both are kind of inspired by the same thing, and then to come to find out that you're not able to continue the friendship, or the friendship might become estranged because of this new founding factor in you guys' lives. So I understand where she's coming from with that. And then we kind of cut into the sponsorship party. And Issa's looking a little stressed. She doesn't know, left from right. She's kind of just walking around, making sure everything's okay. She's noticing Kelly is the bartender, and that she's pouring a little bit too much liquor. And Kelly's just like, if you need to get more money, you need to get them inebriated, get them more stuff in them. And she was offered by a very older sugar daddy man to have sex with her for like $5,000. She was just like, just say the word and I'm there. And of course Issa's like, no, I'll let you know at the end of the party though. But I'll let you know, So on the way to the party is Molly and Andrew. And Molly's like, well, this is going to be a great party. I want to be there for Issa. Thank you for coming along with. And I think they brought up a part of like them doing something like different or something like that for the weekend. And Molly's like, oh, what are you going to be doing for the weekend? Like you got other girls to see or something like that, or going on a date. And she's like laughing. And he's like, was that supposed to be a joke? And she goes, wait, are you actually dating other people? He goes, yeah, aren't you? And of course you could tell she's taken aback by it because she wasn't expecting that answer. She's like, oh yeah, I'm dating other people. And so when they get to the party, well, he says that they weren't that serious, but it is what it is. So when they get to the party, Issa had her TSA bae working the front door for whatever reason. And Molly approaches her like, she's like, Andrew's dating other females. Should I be offended? Am I tripping? She's like, no, like y'all are just chilling, right? And she's like, yeah. She goes, okay, then you should be fine. Plus I got other stuff to do right now, so we'll talk about it later. So as the night progressed, things just kind of started going all types of bad. So Candela and Tiffany introduce Issa to Cheryl, aka Trudy Proud. I can't remember her real name right now, her like actual name. It's in my brain, but I can't say it. I know her name, I just can't say it. So she's in the show, and kudos for Issa for having her on the show, because I remember when she was on, I believe it was called Divas, that it felt like she was blackballed and shunned in Black Hollywood, and nobody was hiring her for anything. So appreciate and shout out to Issa Rae for that. But she's basically the president of some club and everything like that, and she's saying that I love how I'm seeing the Black vendors here, the Black owned vendors. It's like I just seen them at another party, and then I seen them at a party before that. It's almost like we just see a really good vendor and we all just share them. And then that was almost in reference to Candela and Issa having to be dating or dated the same guy. And also as a side note, that it is true. When it comes to Black-owned businesses, when we find one good one, we stick to that one, and we don't ever try to look for any other Black-owned business or any other way to find another Black-owned business. We're like, this is our tried and true one. We're not going to go anywhere from this. But the thing is, granted, we found that one really great Black-owned business, but we really should try to get out there and invest in other Black-owned businesses. It stinks because sometimes, unfortunately, working with your own people can have its own demise, and you guys can take that for what it is, for what I said. I've had my own experiences. I've had other people have their own experiences. And it's one of those things that's very disheartening, because sometimes it is not just with Black people. It can be with white people, Hispanic, Asian. I've had a lot of like my Hispanic friends tell me that once a person like came up to them and they started speaking Spanish, they both speak Spanish. Now it's like almost like, oh, can you give me a deal? Can you give me a cut? Can you help me with something? With a lot of like people who speak different languages, whether you speak German, Haitian Creole, Cape Verdean Creole, Italian, it's almost like once you have that relation to language, it's almost like, oh, you're my friend. Oh, so we can talk to each other in a very non-business way now. Now we can kind of just go with it how we want. And it's just like, that's not how it works. Like if I was working with another race or another nationality, I want the same business-like minded, treatment and stuff like that. And that's a whole different conversation for a whole nother time, but let's move on with the story, because I think my phone is going to die in like a second. Yes, at 10%. So let's keep going. So let's see here. Next we have Issa's brother, who is DJing, right? Next thing you know, he starts playing My Neck, My Back by Kia. So of course Issa's like, what are you doing? This is not somebody that she doesn't know. This isn't like a friend of hers that she hasn't seen in a while who DJs. This is like her blood brother. So he knows the event and what it could do for her. And she's like, why are you playing this music? He's like, well, your tenant requested it. So our tenant gets up there and she's like, oh, it's gonna be a lit party, it's a lit situation, like in room 5. And Issa's like, no, you cannot have a party. And she goes, oh, so you can have parties, but I can't. So at this point in time, they're starting to see that she's starting to see people are leaving. Tiffany tells her that people at the porta potty line are about to leave because the porta potty's broken. So Issa kind of gets up there to try to take control of the situation, and she's trying to, like, thank everyone for coming out and everything. And she grabs her cue cards and stuff, and she kind of like has that moment of clarity of like, you know what, let me put this down, because earlier in the party she was kind of taking over the different people just to tell them what it is, and was catering to what their viewpoints are. She's telling one person is political, another person is not. She's telling one person is fun, another person is not. So finally she said, I know I told you guys different perspectives of what this party is, but this is what it is. It's about our community. It's about bringing it back together again. It's about the gentrification that is affecting us all as a whole. It's just about being one together again. And so she gave a really great speech. Everyone loved it. Cheryl, once again, president of whatever community she is, especially loved it and said that she would have no problem being a sponsor. Issa then walked out with the party having at least 30 sponsors for the block party that she's going to be throwing. Then we have Molly and Andrew again. Molly's off to the side drinking her drink, and Andrew comes up to her like, hey, are you ready to go? She's like, I'm gonna help Issa, I'm gonna clean up with her a little bit, and then I'll just kind of catch you later. He's like, cool, I'll lift it home, because she drove. And he's like, are you okay? She goes, yeah, I'm fine, I'm good. He's like, oh, okay, well, just making sure. He's like, when you get home safe. She goes, you too. And then he leaves. So basically at this point, everybody leaves the party. And Issa goes up to Molly like, hey, I got 30 sponsors, like, I'm pretty excited about this is really great. And Molly's like, oh no, that's really good, like, that's a great time. So then Issa's like, okay, well, thank you, like, you're saying it pretty dry, like, what's going on with you? So Molly then tells Issa that she doesn't think she's going to be dealing with Andrew any longer. She thinks that it's going to be over with them because she didn't realize he was dating other females, and that's not something that she's trying to invest her time into right now. So Issa kind of puts 2 and 2 together like, bro, you like him. Just don't front on yourself like him. That's what I did with my speech. I got up there like, girl, stop fronting. So maybe you should do that. Like, if you like him, tell him that you like him, and then maybe you guys can date exclusively, because I thought you guys were just having fun. So Molly agrees, like, yeah, we are just having fun, but I didn't know he was having fun with other people. And like, this is the main thing I always talk about with you guys. If you're not going to communicate with the person that you are dating, talking to, having sex with, whatever the case may be, and you're not telling them your true honest feelings of like where you think it's going, it's always going to end up messy, and one of you is going to be hurt. Either one person is going to think, oh, this is just a fling, this is something fun, we're just lightly dating, and then the other person's like taking it seriously, or it's always going to do that. It's always going to be one person taking it more serious than the other person, and then you're both going to end up hurt some way or another. So it's just best to let the person know, like, hey, I like you, I see where this is going. Are you dating other people? Even if you're saying it in a jokingly way, all jokes almost have every piece of truth in it. So it's better to just get it out there, like, hey, are you dating other people? Are we exclusively dating? Are we just regular dating? Are we just talking? Like, it's okay to ask, because if you do not ask, you're not going to know. And then you're going to end up in a situation like Molly and Andrew. So Molly then kind of took the time. Let me see what my percentage is looking like, y'all. Okay, 7%. We almost there. So Molly then takes it upon herself to kind of take a jab at Issa, and basically said, well, speaking of like being true and real with yourself, are you and Candela really going to still be friends after finding out that she's dating Lawrence? And then why didn't you tell me? Early in the episode, Issa did call Molly right after finding out Candela told Lawrence, Candela was dating Lawrence, but she didn't pick up, of course. And then Tiffany had told Molly at the party that Candela and Lawrence was talking during Issa's speech. So Issa's like, I mean, yeah, I don't really see a problem with it. She seems cool with it. So Molly's like, are you sure she's cool? So Issa said, yeah, like, I believe she's cool with it. I'm cool with it. Like, I'm obviously over and not dating. I'm not dating Lawrence, and we haven't been dating for like, what, 3 years at this point now? Or 2 years. I'll say 2 years in story time length. Like, they haven't been dating. So there's, or yeah, I'll give it a year. I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth. I'll give it a year that they probably haven't, a full solid year they haven't been dating. So it's like, you know, what am I supposed to do? Like, it's not like she knew who I was beforehand, and it's not like he knew that I knew her. So there's almost no trust or any friendship broken. It's just if anything broken is Tiffany setting Candela up with Lawrence. Other than that, there's nobody else at fault here. So of course Molly's like, I don't know, bro, like that's kind of whack. Like, how are you gonna still be friends with somebody who's like dating your ex-man? And she goes, you know, I wouldn't be able to put this show on or the block party without her. Like, I don't understand why you're tripping so much. Like, it's okay. And then Molly's like, you know, I don't know, bro. It just seems like you like having a messy life. You like having mess in your life. You know, it's like you never want to have like a pure life and just enjoy it. So Issa, of course, like anybody would take that and be like, okay, like that's the kind of the pot calling the kettle black. Like, you know, it's almost like Molly acts like she has this clean cut, never has a problem in her life style, like life in general. Like she's never went through or had some big issue, but because Issa's is on a grander scale, just because of like the past couple of seasons, it's, you're saying that Issa likes drama. She likes having problems in her life just because she's being a mature adult. She's like, you know what? I've already invested so much time with Candela, and she's basically a part of the block party. She's helped me with my vision. Just because she's dating my ex does not mean that we have to stop being friends. If that's the case, then there was no friendship there in the first place. You know, why am I going to get mad at her for fake hurt? And Issa felt some type of way. You know, she's just like, okay, cool, bro. Like, whatever. So Molly ended up texting Andrew, like, you know, I thought we were having fun at first, but I really do like you. And we seen the 3 little bubbles pop up. We just don't know what he said yet. And Candela, after leaving from the party, goes to Lawrence's, and he's like, hey, are you okay? And they end up sleeping together. So I guess she just, in her brain, kind of like got a confirmation, like, I really like Lawrence. I like dating Lawrence. And I feel like it was a little like territorial, like, well, if I sleep with you, then there's no way you can go back with her, because then you'd be betraying me. And it's not us just talking anymore. It's like us dating now because I slept with you, you know? And the next episode, because I'm going to just wrap this up because my phone battery is on like 4% now. And the next episode, it is Halloween. And Issa is still feeling some type of way towards Molly. Molly's still feeling some type of ways towards Issa because she's still friends with Candela. So we will see what happens in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for staying with me. I know this was kind of a longer video, but there was a lot of stuff to wrap up from season 3 going into season 4. So I appreciate you guys so much for staying with me. I hope you guys like the recap. Please check it out, HBO, every Sunday at 10 p.m. All right, thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you later. And it was nice swiping with you.